West Ham begin their Carabao Cup campaign tonight with a challenging fixture away to Wolverhampton Wanderers at the Molineux Stadium. The competition represents an important opportunity for the Hammers, particularly given the struggles they have faced in recent league matches. After the disappointing result on Friday evening, the significance of this tie cannot be overstated. A poor performance would not only place additional pressure on manager Graham Potter ahead of the weekend clash with Nottingham Forest, but it would also weigh heavily on the supporters who are already anxious after a series of frustrating outcomes. The mood surrounding the club is far from ideal. Back-to-back defeats against Sunderland and Chelsea have left confidence at a low point, and Wolves themselves find their form equally worrying, sitting near the bottom of the Premier League table. This evening's cup tie therefore becomes a battle between two struggling sides, 19th place facing 20th in the second round of the Carabao Cup. The draw has raised eyebrows, with West Ham paired against Wolves despite the match being presented as part of the southern section of the competition. Many fans have questioned how Wolverhampton qualifies as the South given its position in the Midlands, but regardless of the logistics, the task at hand remains the same. West Ham must find a way to win. Approaching this match, the atmosphere is one of uncertainty and concern. The squad travels with little confidence, and supporters are desperate for a performance that restores belief. Later today, the expected starting 11 will be revealed, and that announcement is certain to provoke discussion. Traditionally, managers use the early rounds of the League Cup to rotate their squads and experiment with different lineups. However, with the weight this fixture carries, both teams may feel compelled to field stronger sides in search of momentum. For West Ham, progress to the third round would not only provide a psychological lift, but also create valuable momentum heading into the weekend's Premier League schedule. In fact, reports earlier this week have suggested that the importance of tonight's game, together with the upcoming fixture against Nottingham Forest, could play a decisive role in determining Graham Potter's immediate future. With the international break looming after those matches, the next two fixtures have been described as potential make-or-break encounters for the manager. Should results fail to improve, the board could be forced into making a difficult decision before the resumption of domestic football. That sense of urgency only heightens the pressure surrounding this evening's tie. Looking beyond the short term, West Ham's schedule does not offer much respite. Following the clash with Nottingham Forest, the Hammers are due to face Tottenham Hotspur, who are enjoying a resurgence under new leadership. Spurs have rediscovered energy and sharpness, making them a daunting prospect for any opponent. In that context, securing victory in the Carabao Cup tonight takes on even greater importance, as it would allow West Ham to build confidence and reassure supporters before heading into a difficult run of fixtures. For the supporters, a victory tonight would represent far more than simple progress to the next round. It would serve as a much-needed morale boost after a run of poor results, and would restore a sense of belief that the team are capable of turning their fortunes around. Success on the pitch also plays a role off it, particularly in the transfer market. By the time West Ham meet Nottingham Forest at the weekend, there will be only a handful of hours remaining before the transfer window closes. A win at Molineux could therefore strengthen the club's hand in finalizing potential signings, creating an atmosphere of optimism rather than uncertainty. Among the travelling support, expectations are high despite recent setbacks. West Ham's loyal away following are once again set to make themselves heard singing passionately and backing the team throughout the 90 minutes. Their presence and energy remain a source of pride for the club even during difficult times. For those supporters, this fixture carries the hope of witnessing the beginning of a turnaround in fortunes. In terms of preparation, Graham Potter is expected to name his starting 11 only a few hours before kickoff. In previous seasons, the Hammers, like many clubs, have used the early stages of the competition to provide opportunities for squad players. Yet, given the significance of the tie, it would not be a surprise if Potter selected a stronger lineup in an effort to ensure progression. While the manager and coaching staff are currently abroad, monitoring preparations from distance, there will still be full focus on analyzing tonight's performance and delivering a reaction afterwards. Attention also turns to the broader importance of the Carabao Cup. Though often overlooked by the so-called Big Six, the tournament offers a genuine opportunity for silverware and European qualification. Lifting the trophy in February guarantees entry into continental competition, providing both prestige and financial benefits. This reality has left many observers questioning why more Premier League clubs do not prioritize the competition. For West Ham, who have ambitions of competing in Europe regularly, the Carabao Cup could represent a realistic pathway. Ultimately, the match against Wolverhampton Wanderers should be viewed as a pivotal moment. Victory could provide the spark to ignite a revival, ease pressure on Graham Potter, and inspire belief among the fans. Defeat, on the other hand, would deepen the gloom, heightened scrutiny on the manager and leave the team heading into crucial fixtures with even greater doubts. With so much at stake tonight at Molineux promises to be more than just a cup tie, it could prove to be a defining point in West Ham's season. Before we move on to the next update, don't forget to show your support. Hit the like button, leave your thoughts in the comments, and make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss any of our upcoming content. West Ham continue their pursuit of midfield reinforcements, but the way in which the club have handled this process is increasingly worrying for supporters. More than 80 days have passed since the transfer window opened, and neither Graham, Potter, Kyle McCauley, nor David Sullivan have managed to secure a deal that truly addresses this pressing need in the squad. With only 6 days remaining before the market closes, decisions appear to be taken in haste and with a sense of desperation. In recent days, reports have linked the club with Tottenham's Yves Bissouma. However, the interest in the midfielder raises serious questions. Despite being a talented player at 28 years of age, Bissouma carries a history of disciplinary and behavioral issues. He has already been sanctioned by Tottenham Hotspur for repeated lateness to training sessions, which created tension inside the dressing room and left him labeled as difficult to manage. For a squad that requires stability and cohesion, such a profile could be a significant risk. What complicates matters further is the financial aspect. According to Everton.News, Tottenham are willing to part with the player for a fee in the region of £12 million. A bargain by Premier League standards. That price tag may well prove too tempting for David Sullivan, who has once again taken charge of negotiations. Everton themselves have also been credited with an interest, though the Toffees have seemingly been linked with just about every available name throughout this window. It is worth recalling that Graham Potter, who previously coached Bissouma at Brighton, once spoke highly of the midfielder. Back in 2022, Potter claimed Bissouma possessed the attributes to play in the Champions League siding. His physical qualities and technical ability as being of the highest level. Yet even Potter admitted that consistency was the midfielder's greatest challenge. That very inconsistency now fuels doubts as to whether Bissouma could deliver the reliability West Ham so urgently require. The recurring frustration among West Ham supporters centers on the club's repeated tendency to delay transfer business until the final days of the window. As a result, rather than operating with a wide pool of options, the Hammers are forced to consider players who are surplus to requirements elsewhere, struggling for fitness, or those whom other clubs have already cast aside. Among such late window possibilities, Bissouma may be one of the more capable, yet he remains far from a risk-free acquisition. The memory of failed pursuits lingers as well. The collapsed attempt to bring in Mohamed Kudus stands as a warning of what can happen when negotiations are mishandled. Many fans now fear a repeat of that disappointment. Ideally, the board would strike a more measured arrangement this time, perhaps a season-long loan with an option to buy, rather than plunging straight into a permanent transfer for a player whose off-field issues could outweigh his on-pitch talent. Ultimately, this situation captures a familiar dilemma for West Ham. In recent years, the lack of strategic planning in the transfer market and a reliance on opportunistic deals that often carry as many risks as rewards. Yves Bissouma is undoubtedly a footballer of quality, but he's equally a divisive figure. With the clock ticking down on the summer window, the key question is whether David Sullivan can resist the allure of a cut-price deal, or if West Ham will once again gamble on a troubled player in the hope that talent alone will see them through.